Yeah, let's go. Holy crap, man. Oh my gosh. I don't even know how many people are on this.
Hold on. These people are on delay, and we're ahead of them. That's the funny part. Hey, listen, I don't care. There's 1 second. Ethan's not gonna get mad at us right now for this.
Oh yeah, dude. This is probably the wildest Dolphins game we've had since Miami Miracle. This has to be. I mean, the Dolphins should not have won this game by all accounts. So many things not going our way. Bad calls by the refs. Gaskin breaking off a long touchdown run that nobody would have expected. We benched Tua for Fitzpatrick. Anyone would have told you that these were the things that happened in this game. We would have lost.
I think the most important thing is somebody needs to make sure that Fitzpatrick has a neck.
Yeah, Fitzpatrick is going to start getting some Peyton Manning syndrome. I don't know what's happening, but oh my gosh. Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
Oh, this ending hasn't happened yet, so we got to hold on a little bit.
Okay. This is insane. Oh my gosh, my heart. Every Dolphins fan has to be panicking.
I mean, dude, like this game was all said and done. All right, so it is now officially over for all you guys who are just joining in. The Miami Dolphins just won a football game that I don't think I've ever witnessed in my 32 years of living on this planet. Kai's now joining us on delay.
Dude,
me and Michael have been at the end.
Yeah, it's just been me and Manny, like talking about whatever the hell's happening. Listen. No, I want you guys to tell me. Is this not the wildest game since the Miami Miracle? And even then, in my opinion, this is wilder than the Miami Miracle. This is way, way more out there. It has to be.
By the way, did we mention this show is brought to you by PrizePicks.com?
We did not. Lewis, go ahead.
Whoever picked the under on Tua won big today, but you know what? They still found a way to win the football game, and that's all that matters. So for those of you who want to go ahead and try to win big like Miami just did, go to prizepicks.com and use the promo code 5. They will match up to $100 on your deposit. So,
listen, can I please say something?
Yeah, go.
I'm not happy, but I just find it so funny.
You don't look sad.
I was sitting down. No, I'm upset. Truthfully, I'm upset because now we're gonna start hearing this Tua stuff and stuff like that. Like it's gonna be upsetting, but like it's just it's so funny that like the Raiders won off of a blown coverage, right, and a 0 blitz against the Jets to keep their season alive, and Ryan Fitzpatrick, while getting his face ripped, throws a ball that somehow lands perfectly in the hands of Matt Collins for Jason Sanders to kick a game-winning field goal. It's just
that was such a bad neck injury that I promise you, Peyton Manning felt it. That's how bad of a neck injury it was,
dude. After everything that's been happening in the 5R chat the past 15 minutes, dude, like that was just like
listen. Okay. You guys were watching and commentating right throughout, right? Because you guys kept going in and out on the in-game stream. Let me tell you my roller coaster of emotions. All right.
Oh man.
I'm sitting there. I literally, before Fitzpatrick gets on the field, I didn't even know they were going to put in Fitzpatrick. I'm sitting there with my family, and I say these words: "This is going to be a touchdown drive. I guarantee it. Tua's going to lead us." And then I see Santa coming out onto the field wearing number 14, and I'm confused as all get out. Right? He drives us down the field. We get a field goal. Okay. Then I think the next drive, what did they get? The long touchdown bomb to Aguilar? Right?
Yeah.
Then after that, Fitzpatrick drives us down again. But really, it was just Gaskin breaking some tackles, who I did call Gaskin was going to have the biggest game of the running backs in pregame. I did say that. And then you have these roller coaster of emotions where now we're looking at another PI call for the Raiders comes the other way. They kick a field goal. Then listen, I can't with this team. I can't. My heart cannot take it anymore. And if I didn't have a heart condition before this game, I do now. So I can't.
Dude, I just And in all reality, all right.
About it?
Yeah. All right. So in all reality, let's. It's cool to be happy, but let's remember that like the Dolphins should have lost this game.
Have a taco for real? I'm so sorry.
No, you're good.
He has. Isn't it a toy taco? Because you give it to your son to play with too.
Oh, yeah. Dude. You don't remember? Yo, my son came on. He was like a movie star last week.
Yeah.
Look, let's be real. This game should not have ended in a win. Obviously, we're all happy right now, and it keeps the Dolphins playoffs alive.
Kai, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Correct. This is 100% true. I do want to touch on, because we said we're gonna touch on it. I don't want this to, randomly turn something different. The Tua benching, everything like that. What are our feels? And I'm gonna take control of how Lewis does this. I'm gonna pass it to you first, Lewis. What do you think about that situation?
I think this boils down to, once again, this is what I said during the in-game stream. It's not that Fitzpatrick is a better quarterback. Fitzpatrick is a different kind of quarterback than what Tua is. Tua is the accurate, look down the field, find the open man, and hit him quarterback. But when there's nobody getting open, you have to force it. Tua's not good at forcing it. Fitzpatrick is the, I'm going to throw it, and somebody better be there to catch it, which is exactly how this game ended with the Dolphins. Fitzpatrick had no business throwing that ball 80 yards straight up into the sky.
It doesn't even make sense that he was open in the first place, even minus the face mask. The fact that he was open in the first place.
Yeah, that was a weird coverage.
That ball was in the air forever.
It was in the air forever. Thank you.
It looked like a punt. That's why I'm like, yo, this guy literally just dropped the third down early.
That was the same arm strength.
And I'm like, this is done. It's done. It's over.
That was the same arm strength we saw from Fitzpatrick at the beginning of the season, where it's not there. So for him to complete that pass downfield, he's just like, I'm just going to throw it straight up. Air ball. Let's see what happens.
But you know what?
It was complete luck.
And this is what the issue becomes. If that was Tua just tucks it and takes the sack. He doesn't try for that. He doesn't try to heave it straight into the air.
Hold on. If this defense isn't as bad as it is, that's an interception for anyone else. Like, yes. I mean, look.
All right.
And again, listen, you hear what I'm saying, right? I'm not saying that he should have done it. I'm not saying it was a good idea. This is why I say it's better to be lucky sometimes than good. And this is where I say they're different quarterbacks. They're not the same quarterback. Tua is accuracy. Tua is read the field. Fitzpatrick is heave it and pray that somebody comes down with it. And this time the prayers were answered, and Miami somehow managed to win because of it.
Right, but that still doesn't answer the question though. Is what do you make of it now? Obviously, Brian Flores doesn't care about what we think. But what do you make of this going into week 17?
What makes of it is that Flores felt that Tua was not going to get it done because Tua was looking for open guys.
What happens next week? Okay, but then what happens next week?
What happens next week is Tua starts just like normal, and let's see if he can find some open guys. And if he does well, then they'll do well. And because in the end of the day, Flores wants to win, and if if nothing is happening with Tua cannot find any open
physically
guys.
Raising his hands.
I just want to turn because I hate to be the Debbie Downer of this group here, guys, because I understand we won. I understand we're still in the thick of the playoffs.
That's why I asked the question.
I could personally give two shits about this result.
Whoa.
Sorry for cursing with Fitz at the helm because I just feel like it's just, again, instant gratification for this season as opposed to just long-term. What Tua really needs to do is just start and finish the game struggling. And I get it. There's going to be lumps down the road that they need to be taken and things like that. But is there really no better game than literally down to the wire playoff atmosphere? This is I don't know. You
make the playoffs, and then when Tua struggles in the first half, you're just like, oh, let's get Fitzpatrick again in the second half.
Well,
he's constantly watching over his shoulder.
Right, but that's why you asked the question. That's why it's asking what happens next. Because, again, as Juan just said, and I think that all six of us here would – well, Alf, I'm not so sure, but I think all six of us would agree. Maybe Alf might have a little bit of a twist on it. But, like, you want to see him struggle because it's not – we've been saying it since week one. In that postgame, when postgame started in week one, the saying was – it's not about this year. Week 2, it's not about this year. Week 3, it's not about this year. Even still to this day, yes, we're going to be happy that the Dolphins, if they win next week, they're in the playoffs. Nothing can stop that, and that'll be great. But again, at the end of the day, shout out there. it's about getting to Tua needs to develop, and you need to watch him struggle. Like that has to happen. The struggling has to be there. Again, of course, you want to win. Like you want to win, but you want to see Tua struggle. You want to see.
We gotta give Taco and Alfredo time. They haven't gotten to talk about it yet.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I wanted to rebut, but go ahead. Alfredo, go.
I'll give you a different take. I don't think he struggled at all. It was just what they gave him, and he kept taking it. And he kept taking it. All right? Now, this is Rob Marinelli. We talked about it in the pregame, all right? Now it's been Vic Fangio, Bill Belichick, Rob Marinelli, 3 old heads, all had different game plans for Tua Tagovailoa. Today, it was more of a lot of cover 3. They weren't even bringing that many pressures until late in the game, and then they were getting there. They called a lot of second-level stuff for Tua. He just wasn't taking it. He kept taking the short passes, and then when he was getting to the bottom of his drop, the offensive line was just getting beat up. They were just playing terrible. Ryan Fitzpatrick comes in. They go empty.
A terrible game.
They go empty. They go 5 wide. They start sending guys up the seam, occupying the safeties. And all of a sudden, people start popping open. So I'm one of Chan Gailey's biggest defenders, but this was a change in the game plan in-game that worked out in Miami's favor. Okay, and you never know. We talked about it in the Denver game. Maybe if they go empty and they go no huddle in the Denver game, maybe Tua brings them back. Yep. This time, they did the same exact thing. It just worked out. That's as simple as it happened. Yep. Okay, and like I said, everybody's talking about, because, Tua didn't look like if he was frustrated on the sideline. He was cheering the team on. Brian Flores doesn't care about the conventional wisdom that's out there of how you bring along a rookie quarterback. You bring along a rookie quarterback with a full offseason of offseason workouts, a complete preseason, and more weapons. Okay, right. Simple as that. He's trying to make the playoffs. Brian Flores last year, when they were 0-1,000,000 and they were losing every game by 40 points, everybody was looking at them and saying, okay, they're going to go 0-16. You know what Brian Flores was doing? How can I get 9 wins out of this? How can I get to the playoffs? He doesn't think the way fans or analysts or even the best analysts think. He's thinking about, you know what? I got to get to the playoffs. We got stuff that is popping in the second level. Tua's not seeing it. Let's bring in Ryan Fitzpatrick. Let's see if it works out. And it's the exact same thing that happened in the Denver game. It just worked out this way. Imagine if Ryan Fitzpatrick hits Devontae Parker on the post. Yeah. Then he would be 2 for 2 with his move. You know what I mean? So, but
then let me ask you, Alfredo, doesn't that reinforce Flores' line of thinking that, okay, well, if Tua doesn't have it, we could throw Fitz out there and he can get us down there to take the W? Like, doesn't that build the habit of, okay, well, now Tua's struggling? Like, does he have to start looking behind the shoulder?
Okay, but here.
Well, I would say, yeah. Maybe he's going to start looking over his shoulder, but I think it's a weapon thing, Like you got away with it one time, and quite frankly, you got away with it against Belichick. Remember, Belichick held Tua scoreless in the first half. Okay, yeah. Vic Fangio also did a number on Tua, and we talked about it in the pregame. This Raiders defense is not good. Okay, It hasn't been good, but you got to give them credit. Today they tackled, and when you tackle and all you're taking is a bunch of 4-yard hitches, it's going to be hard for you to get touchdowns. And that's all they did today. They played really well on defense, and they gave up what they wanted to give up. And then all of a sudden they said, you know what, we got to push the ball down the field. And Tua's just not seeing it. So let's just go to Ryan Fitzpatrick, and it worked out.
But here's the question. Why is Tua not seeing it? Is it because he's a rookie and he just doesn't look for it? Is it because he doesn't want to take that shot like Fitzpatrick is willing to? What is going on? Are they literally running different routes with Fitzpatrick in as quarterback? Is it still same stuff?
They did. They ran a bunch of different stuff today. When Fitzpatrick came in, they're running a lot of two-way goes. They didn't run a single two-way go in the entire first half that I noticed. And I tried to rewatch as much as I could at halftime. I watched like maybe 6 dropbacks, and everything was just a one-way go, and then you had a crosser. And some of them were there, and he was hitting them. But nobody breaks tackles on this team. Like, it's hard to start
today.
Yeah, it's good.
Hold on. Miles broke the one, and then he ran to the other side of the field, and no one was near him because the Raiders' defense is terrible. So we can't say he broke a bunch of tackles. He broke one. So
he broke a lot of tackles going into the end zone the first time.
True.
But yeah, it's on this team. You know, if he gets a couple of broken tackles,
oh my god,
then who knows? Maybe he's in the 200 yards passing range for Tua.
Hey, Al, my bad, real quick. Maybe you could remember, but I had always heard that if you have two quarterbacks, you have no quarterback. Who was the one who said that?
Probably some guy that didn't have Ryan Fitzpatrick on the bench. That was because usually when teams have two quarterbacks, it means that they're struggling with, all right, who's better? No, they know who the future is. The future is Tua Tagovailoa, and he'll start next week. And if he plays great. And if he doesn't, and if they go to Fitzpatrick again, that's Brian Flores. It's a different mindset.
This is the biggest thing about it. Here's where the problem comes in, and this is why everybody's so upset now. We've been talking. Kai said it, and we said it at the beginning of the season too. This season was not about playoffs. It's about development. It's about learning. It's about growing and becoming better as a team and all this wonderful stuff. That was before playoffs became an actual reality that could possibly happen. Now everything is off the table because now it's not about just development. Now it's, oh my God, win and you are in. And at that point, development cannot overtake the idea of actually winning the football game. And if Tua is not getting the job done, for better or worse, you try to find a spark, and if Fitzpatrick can get it for you, then you take it. Because at the end of the game, you win.
Then why were we rooting for the Texans against the Colts? Right? If we wanted to make it into the playoffs, you root for the Texans
because either way, we win and we're in. Win and you're in.
But you're trying to make it in, so you're trying to make it easier on yourself. So you root for the Texans and not the draft pick, right? We can't have it all. We just can't have it all.
But I've already told you I'm greedy and I want both ways. But that's the point.
At least he admits it.
That's true.
I've told you that many times, man. That's not news.
He's the Lannister of football.
One thing to also touch on, and it's something I think that all of us will agree on, is like you can't. And I saw it, and I'm not going to specifically talk about what we have all seen today. It's just like things you've seen on Twitter where it's like you can't pick and choose when you want to love Tua and when you want to hate Tua. Obviously, you can't. Like you can say, okay, I didn't like that, but you can't go one game. This is the greatest guy. It's our future face of the franchise. And the next game, Ryan Fitzpatrick needs to be in. Let's look for a quarterback, draft whoever. You get me? Like I think that some of this needs to be piped down.
But the thing is, no one in the Dolphins is doing that. Not a single person in the Dolphins organization is doing that. They're all led by B-Flow, who's just about winning. And my argument was this:
in terms of Twitter, like people, I think we need to.
But Twitter doesn't know anything.
Right.
They don't.
This is true,
they don't.
We do appreciate everybody watching. By the way, that's not a shot at you.
By the way, new policy on 3 yards per carry. If you notice, I didn't respond to a lot of people today. I'm not going to feed into your mental illness. If something happened in 1994 where the Dolphins blew a playoff shot, it does not matter.
They need therapy. They need therapy.
It has nothing to do with this particular team. Okay. So if you're going to tweet at us Tua blows or this or that, you're just not going to get a response. Okay. So stop doing it. That's why you're not going to get a response. Yeah. And I'm going to say another thing, okay? Everybody that was bitching about Byron Jones, I was hard on him on the 3 yards per carry account.
Oh, my God. He's getting such a bad rap right now.
That touchdown that he gave up against Nelson Aguilar, he was face guarding. That's completely on him. He was there to make the play. That was how you teach it, okay? You teach that in high school. That's how you teach it when it's a scramble play, okay? It's a broken play. You face guard. That's exactly what Byron Jones did. It was just he did not make the play. The ball got past him. He didn't make the play. And let me say another thing. That pass interference was grade A, 100% bullshit. All right?
Yes.
And it almost cost them. It almost cost them the season.
Thank you.
That was a great play by Byron Jones. A great play because he almost got the interception. Yeah. If you notice, it went right off of his fingertips.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
He broke it up. It hit the ground. That's how you teach it. 49-yard penalty. And I'm going to say it again. I've been doing this for as long as people have been listening to me on Twitter. Get rid of the pass interference penalty. Go to the college rule. 15 yards.
15.
Because 49-yard penalty.
That's terrible, man. That's
nobody deserves a 49-yard penalty. Nobody.
But low key, that kind of. I mean, it's a terrible call at the spot, and then at the time of the game too. I mean, at that point, you're just literally the refs are deciding who wins at that point.
Like the argument on the previous Aguilar play was, hey, let them play through it. It's the end of the game, so we're not going to call an offensive pass interference. But then we go the other way and they call it.
He pushed off
that should have been called.
Aguilar pushed off just the slightest bit, but there was no flag there. That was okay. And then a slight little itty bitty touch of the shoulders for Jones, and that's a PI. No, sorry. I cannot. That's not fair to Byron Jones.
And by the way, you know who had his best game of the season, and nobody's going to notice it because he didn't get an interception. Xavier Howard was all over the place making plays. He should have got that interception. He should have got that interception when he popped it up.
Over the body
begging for them to throw it his way. I wanted them to throw it his way all game, and every time they did, he was right there. It was so frustrating.
They tried everything on him with Henry Ruggs, running him across the formation full speed to try to get him out on the edge, and he didn't allow anything today. Anything. And and credit to the defense. They tried to get away with guarding Darren Waller one-on-one with Eric Rowe. And in the second half, they said, you know what, we're going to double him. And since the double went on, all they gave up was that one play and nothing else. So,
after
good
we were
adjustment.
banging the table for double 83.
Yeah.
Like
right.
That whole time.
If we were all sitting here during halftime talking
about fair to Eric Rowe here. It's not. He tried his damnedest.
He
did.
He did
cover him, and there were times where it was really close. It's just
monster.
What
else could you have asked him to do at that point? He did everything.
Hey, credit to the Raiders. All year they've been, like we talked about it in the pregame. I said, the Raiders might help us because they play them in line a lot, and that allows us to play a lot of coverages on Darren Waller. Today they decided, you know what? We're going to Y ISO. ISO all game, and you're going to have to cover them out on an island one-on-one.
But you saw what happened. That was just them looking at tape of what they did with Kelsey and then just saying, okay, well, hey, we're going to replicate that,
And really, they did exactly the same thing.
It was interesting, too, that the couple times that Waller did stay in line to block, Carr had nothing going for him. I'm curious how many times that Carr got sacked. It was because Waller was just blocking the whole time as opposed to out on a route, because none of the wide receivers were getting open. It was just Waller all day and a couple good runs. But the wide receivers were pretty clamped down other than the couple of long plays that we all think are questionable.
Really quick.
Look numbers. Tua was 17 of 22 for 94 yards. You know how hard that is to do? Can anybody break a tackle on this team?
Yeah, just to confirm, and thank you to the guys in the comment section for also putting it there without hesitation, according to both our Kylie Ray Wing and Joshua Houts, who are a part of the call there for the Dolphins. Brian Flores, without hesitation, said,
and thank you for the $5 donation. Sorry, go ahead.
Thank you. Yes, Tua Tagovailoa is the starter, no questions asked, without hesitation.
And just, are we shocked?
Not that it really matters, but just to put that out there. Just
we all kind of saw that coming.
Nobody
shocked. Say
nobody is shocked.
Thing.
Yeah.
This if he said anything else, we would have been shocked.
Yeah, if he had said we're gonna look into who gives us the best chance to win, then I would have said, well, that's
then I would have been, whoa, hold on a second. This Tua, that's the thing. Tua didn't play bad.
He didn't play.
Alfredo's right. He didn't play bad. It's just
So is the defense? So help me out here, because you guys are the X and O guys, right? So because we all know Tua, they play a certain way with him. And Fitz is the gunslinger, and when he comes in, the defense knows they have to be careful because he's the gunslinger. Is the defense just playing Tua differently because they don't have to worry about that too? Is that part of it, where you're looking at different offenses being called, but at the same time, different defenses being played because of that?
Absolutely. Against Tua, and we have 3 instances already. Vic Fangio dialed up. I already said 20 out of 29 dropbacks, 16 were 5-man pressures. Okay, so he figured out, okay, we're going to try to, scheme pressure against Tua, try to send 5 as much as possible, and then try to get to him that way. Belichick decided, okay, we're going to flood the middle of the field, but Tua had a little helper, which was a 250-yard running game. So it really didn't matter. Today, Rob Marinelli, and I said it, man, and by the way, why the hell weren't the Raiders? Why didn't they give him the job to start the season? Okay, this guy has called top 5 defenses before in the NFL. He decided, you know what? 3-man pressures on third down. I'm flooding the middle of the field and playing a ton of zone. Okay, and then trying to force them to push the ball to the second level, and Tua just wasn't getting there. And then in the second half, he switched it up. To his credit, he started sending some more pressures, and it was getting there. And then what really bugged them, I think what really screwed the Raiders over was when we brought in Fitzpatrick. We're going 5 wide, and we're sending two-way goes down into the second level, and they stayed in a lot of the same defenses. And when they adjusted at the end, at the very end, the Mac Hollins play. They called it was 3-by-1 on the safety, and they had a man on the flat. It was a busted coverage, in other words. Okay, there was supposed to be a guy rolling over, and they were supposed to allow anything in the middle of the field. So it was a busted coverage that allowed Mac Hollins to get past.
The Gaskin touchdown was what? I mean, that was
that was pretty lucky.
Tua could have made that throw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was just Gaskin. That was just Gaskin making a play.
Right, you don't get that when Tua's in there.
You mentioned last week we won because we had a 250-yard rushing game. I think if we had kept feeding Gaskin, we could have had upwards of 160 because Gaskin was working in the run game way better than Ahmed. And the offensive line just looked different. And maybe, I mean, it can't be that it was all the offensive line.
Running backs, that's where the difference in running backs.
I charted it. Out of the first 5 plays, Eric Flowers blew a block on a screen that got stopped for 3 yards, and he allowed a pressure up the middle on Tua. And Eric Flowers did not have his finest game today.
That stunt. Every time I see them stunt on our offensive line, I'm like, how do you people not figure this out yet? They switch. They have 3 guys on the left against 2 of theirs. One stunts around, and the whole offensive line freezes up and lets right in front of Tua's face. I mean, that's the worst place to have pressure.
Yeah, it's a technique thing. Yeah, you got to allow a little bit of space to pick up those, and then you got to recognize it when it happens. You know,
and
they were good on that early in the year. They're
why not put in Dieter
lately?
Yeah, why not put in Dieter for Flowers, right? Because Flowers had a pretty bad game. If you're going to take out Tua, put in Dieter then, right? Does he give you a better chance to win? It's very interesting the times he chooses to substitute and who he chooses to substitute.
Yeah, it was just one of those things where they asked, I guess, Eric Flowers, how do you feel? And he's like, I'm 100%. I'm ready to go. And you know what? But to be fair to him, he looked exactly like Austin Jackson looked when he came back from his injury.
Yeah,
not up to speed. Making mental errors.
He was really slow today, Eric Flowers. Like it just I guess not even. Are you not just saying slow as in slow, like slow as in mentally? You could see there was a couple plays, and I'm sure once it was rusty. People take a look at the all. Yeah, he's rusty. Once you look at the all 22, you're gonna see like there's some things that Eric Flowers didn't have a great game.
Yeah,
I think that some of the stuff is just ridiculous, but it just brings us into next week. Winning your end, nothing else matters. That's it. Right now, winning here, nothing else matters.
And that
should have been that the entire time.
Yeah,
right.
And that's where it comes in. Is we're trying. This is why it's so hard to put this season in a box. You can't do it.
2020 has been weird.
2020, yes. In the world,
football,
yes.
It's been
for the Dolphins more so than anything else because you have to juggle the quarterback controversy, which it really isn't one, but we're making it one. The development of players, the potential of playoffs, the continued growth of Flores as a head coach, all of these things are one conglomerate, and there are some things where it seems like almost they are diametrically opposed to each other. You want Tua to develop, so you don't want to bench him. But you want to make the playoffs, and Tua's not getting it done. So you want to throw in Fitzpatrick, but that means that Tua doesn't play. But do you want to make the playoffs?
But the problem, too, is it's not even just do you want to make the playoffs. Like, you have a playoff team.
Right. They're there.
Like, we have
they're right there. They're not. They're slamming the fist in the door.
Very interesting thing. And I was talking to my guys on the podcast in our WhatsApp chat this weekend. I was like, man, I was looking back in history. When was the last time this happened? They got 10 wins now, okay? One of the 10 wins, obviously, they just won it on the last-second field goal, right? The other 9 wins, the opposing team did not have the ball to win it at the end of the game. So they won 9 two-possession games. Even the Cardinals game, they tried a field goal to tie it at the end of the game. So remember, the Chargers, they beat them by 8. Chargers didn't get the ball back after 8. Yeah, every other game was a comfortable win. Every other game was by double digits or by 8, and they tried an onside and we got it. Okay, or the Cardinals, they missed a field goal. So, they haven't played many close games, really.
Well, we also had Devontae Parker and other weapons.
Well, and I'm gonna say this too about the defense. The defense all year has been bend, don't break. That's the way they've been playing. Today they were bending way too often. The only time the defense looked really comfortable and really like they were clamping on the Raiders was inside of the 20. Right when the Raiders got into the red zone, they had a really good time in there. But the whole rest of the field, they were driving on them really well. You can't just keep letting that happen.
The defense did stay true to character. I don't know if somebody could pull up the stats. What were the Raiders on third down? Because at one point they were 0 for 6.
I think
so. I don't know what they ended.
0 for 0. I'm pretty sure. Let me check, but I'm almost positive. I'm
trying to pull up the team stats now here.
I'm almost positive they were 0 for 0.
So for the Raiders, third down efficiency 0 for 10. They didn't get a single.
Well, there you go. So the Dolphin defense stayed completely in character, except for one thing: they didn't get a turnover. Okay, and they gave up big plays.
A lot of big stuff.
Yeah,
mostly to Darren Waller, and again that penalty stuff from Nelson Aguilar, which is for real. It's the non-penalty for the touchdown and the phantom penalty on the last play. We have to give credit where it's due to these guys, because quite frankly, they fought, they clawed their way to victory, and we're gonna give crap to people. Are gonna give crap to Byron Jones. They're talking about, well, why is Xavier Howard not making more money than him? You can make that argument, fine, but Byron Jones has not been a bad player. He has not. He's just not a playmaker. He's almost like the anti-playmaker. He shuts plays down. He doesn't make them himself.
But he's always there around the
ball.
No, he's not that bad. I'm thinking Eagles Namdi, man. That was what was it? What did they call themselves? The Dream Team, or what is it? What did the Eagles call themselves?
Everybody. It was a Dream Team, I think.
Yeah. Oh, that was bad. But so, I mean, hey, we're 1 win away. We're one win away.
This is the big.
Hey, by the way, another week, and now we have a new king of the backfield. So Myles Gaskin is now the bell cow. A week ago, we were saying Savon Ahmed was going to be the guy, and now I guess Myles Gaskin is the guy now.
No, you know what? This is where New England running game really does come into play. Some days it was LeGarrette Blount. Some days it was Rex Burkhead. Some days it's going to be Jonas Gray. Some days it's going to be Sony Michel. Some days it's going to be Dion Lewis. Right for last week against the Patriots, Savon Ahmed was the guy. He couldn't be stopped. We tried Savon Ahmed at the start of this game. It didn't work. Gaskin has better vision as a runner. He's not as fast. He's not as explosive, but he has better vision. He has a better idea of where to run the football. There were holes that Ahmed wasn't hitting, and Gaskin was. That's why it worked. If we had tried to slam it all game with Ahmed, I don't think the running game would have got off the ground. But that's because that's how the Raiders' defense functions. Now, what does Buffalo's defense do, and probably who's the best running back to attack it? That's where we have to ask ourselves.
But did Breida even play a snap? I know he didn't get a touch, but he didn't even play a snap.
He didn't.
That means that I don't get that, right? Ahmed was struggling, right? Bring in Breida, see what he had. Right, but you didn't have Gaskin on the rest of the game after Ahmed was playing bad. They brought Ahmed back in. So instead of bringing Ahmed back in, I don't know what's going on with Breida, but they're just not playing him when they have two other guys. I don't know why, but I'd like to see him. I think he could have broken a couple runs today.
Would it be a crazy stretch to say that in many ways Matt Breida and Kenyon Drake are similar players and that they didn't play Drake for the same reasons?
I don't think so. Drake was a special case, man.
Yeah, Drake was a really good receiver. He was just misused here. He's
and what is Matt Breida doing?
Cardinals. They just don't use him. There's something going on there, and it's been going on all year. And don't be surprised when the offseason rolls around, all of a sudden he's on another team because we traded him for a 6th-round pick.
Whatever. At that point,
there's something going on with him because when he came here, I was like, man, he's perfect. For this backfield because he could hit the home run. He could make one guy miss and he's gone 70 yards, and then at the end of the game you say, whoa, he ran for 100 yards, but he only had 6 carries.
Yeah.
But it just hasn't happened for him. I thought it was going to start for him in that New England game, after that New England game, because I thought he played really well. But it's not going to happen for him. We're already, we're 15 weeks into this already.
Yeah,
16 weeks actually.
And we lost Grant right in the middle. What was it? First quarter or second quarter?
Yeah.
And I understand what all of us think about Grant. Grant is body catching everything, and he had that bobble where he should have had a first down. But Grant was the only thing keeping safeties deep, right?
Yep.
Even when Parker comes back next week, there's nothing we can put out there that is going to force the Buffalo Bills safety to play deep into the field, because it's going to say you have no one that can beat us over the top. Not a single one.
You're going to have to do it by formation. They're going to have to go a lot of empty. And then, to try to hold the safety deep, they're going to have to go a lot of empty and do it by formation. But they can't do it just lining up and sending a guy deep.
Yeah. I wonder how much losing Grant really had to change up the offensive play calling too. Like, yeah, you had that great drive to start the second half, but the rest of Tua's drives in that first half were all with Grant in mind, and he wasn't there for the formation. So everybody was just playing really close on the field. There's just too many things going on, and you need some help on that speed front.
You just said Lewis's favorite words by saying, I wonder if the game plan changed when Grant got injured.
By the way, what an insane play by Ryan Fitzpatrick on that play.
I'm
not giving him
credit for that.
It was magical.
I'm not giving him credit. I'm not giving him any credit for that.
At the end of the year, at the end of the year, NFL Network always does the top 50 plays of the season. That has to be a top 5 play. There's no way that somebody's pulling your head off and you complete a 40-yard pass.
I'm not giving him credit. He just heaved it up and prayed to God with all of his heart and soul.
Hey,
somebody
sometimes
would be there to
that's what
catch
you
it.
need, Lewis.
But that's not worth giving credit. It's just luck.
What was better, that play or Eli Manning to Tyree?
Eli to Tyree.
Eli to Tyree.
Yeah,
Easily.
that's in the Super Bowl. He broke like 5 tackles. Yeah, come on.
Easily.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the only way that this play is going to be remembered is if the Dolphins go to the Super Bowl from here on out.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way that this play is going to be remembered. If not, people will forget this in a year or two.
Yeah. Really quickly to touch on the playoff situation for the Dolphins. Obviously, we know it's win and you're in, but there are seeding implications that the Dolphins could go higher up or lower, whatever, or not lower, stick at 7 or go higher up. One thing that's interesting that I actually did want to ask: how do you guys feel about the Browns game tomorrow? Browns are missing a lot of people. They're playing the Jets, but they're missing a lot of offensive weapons.
Receivers.
Yeah. Jarvis, Higgins, all out. And there's a couple more, but those are obviously
the Jets winning that game. But the Jets winning that game would be the best possible outcome for Dolphins fans, right?
The Jets winning out. The Jets winning out would be fun.
moves them up in the draft order. Moves the Browns out lower in the playoffs. That would be the best thing ever. Adam Gase. I'd love Adam Gase after that.
Yeah, for the ultimate backdoor. Yeah, for the ultimate backdoor, you need, if the Colts and the Browns lose this week, then the Dolphins all of a sudden go into the last week saying, man, we don't need that much help, even if we lose.
Yeah, we can't lock up a playoff spot tomorrow no matter what, right?
No, we can't. But it's Landry, Higgins, Donovan Peoples-Jones, and Hodge all out for the receivers. So essentially, it's going to be the Nick Chubb train, and that's what they're going to have to do. Not that it's going to be hard,
and Hunt.
Hey, correct me if I'm wrong, Kai. Kai, you're the resident expert on the network at least. And correct me if I'm wrong. If the Browns had beaten the Ravens, wouldn't we be in right now?
Yes. If the Browns beat the Ravens on Monday Night Football, we would have clinched a playoff spot tonight.
Oh boy.
I've always listened.
The Dolphins.
Can you imagine clinching the playoffs on that play at the end of the game? Wow.
If there's anybody in the chat that's from Cleveland, I don't care. I hate Cleveland. I just hate Cleveland. I can't. I hate Cleveland. I hated them after the whole LeBron thing both times. I just hate Cleveland. Now they've lost us the playoff spot. Stupid. They're all stupid.
But just for some more stuff, if I guess just playoff wise, the Browns win, Steelers win, Bills, Chiefs, Ravens, and Packers, because that actually matters a little bit for the Dolphins. The Colts would be first ones out. Ravens would be in. Dolphins would be 6th. Browns would be 5th with that win, and the Titans would essentially be sort of tied, but would be in the playoffs just because they have a better conference record than the Colts do. So a lot of implications in seeding happens tomorrow.
Taco, did you see the comment?
I totally saw it. Yeah.
The bald dude with the Sam's Club Dolphins jersey. That's the best comment I've ever seen.
I don't think I can fit the whole thing in there. That's what she said.
Gee.
No monetization here, folks.
Yeah,
essentially,
which is sad because we've had more viewers in this show than we've had in any show so far.
Yeah.
Hey.
But for more of that, the Colts are actually fighting more so for their playoff lives than we are. Funny enough, if the Colts, Browns, Ravens, Dolphins, and Titans all tie at 11-5, the Colts would be first ones out. Browns would be 7th seed, Ravens 6th seed, Dolphins 5th, and Titans 4th. So we could have 5 11-5 teams, and the Colts, who looked like shoo-ins a few weeks ago, would be first ones out if they lose tomorrow to the Steelers, because they're going to beat the Jaguars. I think we're all going to guess that.
Then you need to break it down for us in simple terms, Kai. Who are we rooting for exactly?
The Dolphins to win next week against the Bills.
Okay, but this upcoming Sunday, Kai.
Look, that's the best way. I mean, in terms of seeding, you want the Jets to win, which you want the Steelers to win. You want I guess, and the Packers, I guess, to technically win, although the Titans game doesn't really matter that much to you. But you want the Jets to win if possible, and obviously Trevor Lawrence not coming here would be great. Steelers, and then Packers. I mean, the Giants game with the Ravens doesn't mean anything. If the Ravens were playing an AFC opponent, then that would be completely different, because then the Dolphins would be able to clinch a playoff spot tomorrow if the Ravens lost. So you're really just rooting for random things.
Yeah, it's so much.
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago there were so many possibilities, but now it's literally just you win next week and nothing matters. If you lost today, there was no shot.
Hey, so real quick, this is a Ray Finkel jersey. It's not Sam's stuff. Look, okay. I have my Tua jersey right here. You want my Sam? Look, it's a vapor. I spent a lot of money. This was not cheap. It's a Ray Finkel jersey.
Well, it's Sam's Club now. It will always be the Sam's Club jersey.
I'm pretty sure there's a sponsor we can get for that too.
Yeah, we have Manscaped or something like that.
No, that gets rid of hair. We need one for like getting your hair back.
Growing hair, the opposite.
Who's Cincinnati playing tomorrow? Because everybody's talking about them in the comments. I don't know who they're playing, but everybody's saying that we want Cincinnati to win so that we get a better draft pick, which would be nice. If it doesn't impact our playoff implications,
they're playing the Texans.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, if you want the playoff, if you want the pick, then of course you want that. But I'm talking about playoffs, man. The pick doesn't matter anymore, Lewis. God damn it.
I didn't bring it up.
Whoa, I'm just saying.
I was asking. It matters. It's just not more important than the playoffs. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so let me give you.
I feel like the Giants could beat the Ravens. I don't think that's crazy.
It just wouldn't matter. Like, it literally wouldn't matter at all because they're not playing an AFC opponent. So stupid.
Oh, you're saying that doesn't matter. The next week matters. Okay.
Yeah.
Steelers, Colts, obviously.
Oh, wait a minute.
This week we're just rooting for the Colts and the Browns to lose, and that gives us the back door for next week.
Yes. Just to add in for that pick, if let's say that's the only result that falls through right now that we're adding in, and other things, I guess in the lower tier, let's say Jacksonville loses, which wouldn't be a shock, although the Bears also losing and ruining their playoffs hopes wouldn't be a shock either. Jets losing, that's really the top, and I guess the Falcons are going to get blown out of the water. If all of that happens in terms of those ones, because those are really the only ones that matter, and I guess Carolina too. Yeah, if Carolina also loses, those are really the only ones that matter. Houston's pick would only move up one spot if they lose to the Bengals. If they win, it would go to number 8. So
wait,
for the pick, you want the Panthers Bills to win tomorrow, and you want the Jaguars to win tomorrow if possible, because then Houston's pick would be number 4.
Well, and don't we want, because we want the Colts. I feel like we want the Colts to win, because then that knocks the Steelers down even lower, and then the Bills are more likely to rest their starters because at that point they would have locked up.
It's winning in. It's winning in.
Let's stop rooting for them.
No.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of rooting for them to have to rest their starters. Doesn't sound.
Yeah, no. I want to win a game that matters.
No, I'll take it, but I mean,
That's all I'm saying. I'll take it.
Yeah.
You take it, but
Is this better? Worse?
Oh,
Nah,
wait, did you get that one at Costco?
You need to attach a 4 to the end of
No,
that. You need like a Velcro 4 that you can put on there when the game goes the opposite direction.
Oh shit!
Wait, am I
Oh
seeing
my
a
gosh.
way where that?
I will say this. If you had to pick right now,
You bullied him to do a wardrobe change. Yeah. You did. You bullied me into a wardrobe change.
This is an honest question.
Wait, do I get money for that?
Make another donation, guys.
Yeah.
And he'll change his costume again.
Take it off.
No,
There's a
please
possibility
don't.
for the
We're
Steelers
already
to
in
finish
deep
at
enough trouble with the
6.
YouTube algorithm. Don't do that again.
That's hilarious. There's a possibility for the Steelers to finish at 6 and play the Browns in Cleveland in the playoffs. That's so funny.
I could sit here and listen to Kai do this all night long, to be honest.
Dude, it's so much fun to mess around with.
I mean, I need to keep drinking and whatever else I'm doing, but
hey, I got you.
All right. So this is an honest question, and this is something that people are going to be asking about, and we're going to have to deal with it all week. If you want to win against Buffalo next week, who do you have?
Ryan Fitzpatrick's name.
I am asking a question.
You start Tua.
You start Tua, but who do you think the offense moves better with?
I think Ryan Fitzpatrick throws for 385 yards, and he throws the game-losing interception in the last minute and 45 seconds. Because I've seen that happen before.
Right.
There was a Jets team. There was a Jets team that had 10 wins that went to Buffalo. Does that sound familiar?
Yes, it sounds very familiar.
And he threw I believe it was 5 interceptions.
Oh,
but we have to look at this from the coach's perspective. If Tua struggles again, at what point do you say it's time to throw in Fitzpatrick, or do you just say we don't? Because I'm sure that most of us here are saying, "Well, we'll leave Tua in and we'll let him struggle to the very bitter end." Does anybody here really want to throw that away if we feel like we have a shot to win if Fitzpatrick gets the offense moving?
Win what? To win what?
The playoffs. To get to the playoffs.
But what are they winning ultimately? Like again,
but hold on. Yeah. Go ahead, Tom.
You don't give us prime time.
What do you mean?
No,
that's the whole reason we're even here where we begin with.
No, and I get it, man. But look, we've all been like we're not fans right now. I'm a fan. I don't give a shit. But man, like, is this what we care about? Honestly, after being a Dolphins fan for so long, I get it. We want to be good, and the thing is, you're talking about they have multiple things going on, Tua and them being good, but they can coincide because you can plug a quarterback into this team that can be dominant, right? But what is the goal right now? Like, I think what he was saying before was
5 different goals here, pretty much, and you have to pick one.
That's the problem. Is you get into the playoffs, do you give Tua the experience, or do you try and win a game that are you winning a Super Bowl this year? Is what I'm getting at.
I'm not saying they will, but you know what? If you
Alfredo believes.
They are eerily similar to that 2000 Patriots team.
Okay, so
we ran down the numbers. I want to give them. Hey, they had Tom Brady. They had Tom Brady that was throwing for less yards than Tua and looking worse. Okay. I want to give, and I'm pretty sure this is what Brian Flores is thinking, what the front office is thinking. I want to give the number 1 defense in the NFL a shot to win a playoff game or 2. Because if they win one playoff game, you're talking about a wildly successful season. They get all the experience that they wanted for this young team, and they get to match up against a team that they could look forward to next year saying, okay, we got to beat that team to get to where we want to go. So, yeah, I want to give that defense, and let's be honest, this running game is getting better by the week.
Well, yeah.
I want to give this running game and this defense a shot in the playoffs.
And by the way, even if Tua isn't the one who gets in there all by himself, Tua getting playoff experience is there too. Who says that you can't have it both ways? Who says that you can't give him that experience? Who says that the development stops if Fitzpatrick has to play? Is Tua going to the bench mean that he's a bust? No. Does Tua going to the bench means that he suddenly stops learning and growing? No. I don't see why there's so much stress if we know that in the end Tua is the future no matter what. So let Tua be the future. He doesn't have to be the present right this second. And I see all the comments saying that Tua is going to be the starter, and Flores said that. I know that. That's not the question. The question is, if you want to win and get to the playoffs, who has the better shot of getting you in there at quarterback?
Tua, because they could write a defense and a running game, and Tua won't turn it over. He didn't turn it over again today.
No, he didn't.
They pulled him.
Well,
it worked
he
last
almost
time.
did, but he didn't.
Yeah,
this is what
one of those almost again.
I was trying to get to before was like, look, this is not the first time that they have done this. They did this in the Denver game, and it seemed to work. He came back. He looked better. So who's to say that this doesn't do the same thing, but maybe times 2, times 3?
Mm-hmm.
We've already seen this, and it's worked. So, I think part of it, too, and what I was getting at with the playoffs, what's the goal? I think I'm scared of the first-round blowout loss. What we're used to.
You mean every playoff we've had for the past 2 decades?
Right.
Yeah.
That's what it is for me. I agree with Alfredo. If they can win that first game, to me, then it's almost like how the Heat after they won the Milwaukee series, it was like that was icing on the cake after that. If they can win the first round game, to me, it's a success. With Tua starting, that's the difference. I get getting there is one thing, but Tua needs to win that game.
I think that they've already played 15 games, and we're 16 games into the season, and there is zero evidence that any team will come and beat the crap out of the Dolphins. They just don't get blown out. Their defense is too good. They know how to breathe in games. They know how to, take care of the football when they have to. And even when the Chiefs had a big lead,
Mahomes,
right back into it, and they had a chance to win, really, if they get that stop on 4th and 1.
Some really amazing stuff. That was Tua doing some really, really amazing stuff.
Really quick as I start to head to sleep here because tired.
Yeah, we got to call this a show at some point.
And before we call it, I guess if we're calling it soon, I'll stay for the end. Just for the playoff implications thing again, just to keep talking about, if all teams finish 11-5, just for that reference, and the Colts do miss out, the Dolphins would play the Tennessee Titans in Nashville in the first round of the playoffs.
Give it to me.
The Ryan Tannehill.
Man.
Just saying. So there you go.
It just makes sense, doesn't it? I mean,
the ultimate irony. It's 360. It's almost like the stage is being set. Yep. It's like it's time for the ultimate matchup. The former Miami Dolphins franchise quarterback Ryan Tannehill versus the future of the franchise Tua Tagovailoa.
That could be the game that Tua really needs to beat Tua, because their defense can give up points. Tennessee's defense is susceptible, and they're going to score points. They got some weapons there.
So is the Raiders. So is the Raiders defense. So,
that's true. But
any given Sunday,
Parker
any given
comes
Saturday,
back,
Friday, Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday. I mean, whenever we play games here in the NFL, given day.
Tua brought us here. Tua was the quarterback that brought us here, right? Like Fitzpatrick played at the beginning of the season, but that was so up and down. Tua was the quarterback that has led us to this point. He deserves every chance to have at least the start of the game.
Yeah.
I think he's your best option. I think he's your best option moving forward, but I agree with you on the fact that if Tua struggles in the first half again, as much as I will disagree with it, I can very much see Flores saying, let's pull Tua and put Fitzpatrick in again, because that is what Flores does. That is what he has shown to you. And the one thing I like about that is this. Flores shows you all he cares about is winning. That is his number one thing, right? He put in Tua, and people are saying, oh, he's throwing away the season. It's just about development. Oh, he doesn't care. No, all he cares about is winning. And you're going to disagree with the way he's going to get about it, but he's going to go for it. And again,
Coach of the Year.
He's Coach of the Year for a reason, and I'm going to trust him. I don't like it because I'm a Tua fan, but I'm going to trust him.
Lewis, bring us home.
Well, it just works, so it's hard to argue when it just worked, even though it's some crazy shit.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky.
Hey, not every win could be by double digits and comfortable at the end of the game. You know what I mean? They had to win one of these eventually.
Oh yeah. Yep. Listen, even the Chiefs were this close to not surviving Miami.
This is true.
Well, and they were that close to losing to the Raiders twice, weren't they?
Mm-hmm.
They did. Yeah. There you go.
Because they lost the first one. The second one was really close against the Raiders. It happens.
And that's when the Raiders were like up, like because the Raiders, they've fallen off a lot this season from what they should have done. They should have been a playoff team this season.
Mm-hmm. And we've
It's
said it.
Like they look good early.
Yeah. And Kai, we've said it since last week on our first episode of the Extra Yard. We said the playoffs start now before the Patriots game. We've been in the playoffs for 3 weeks straight. We win those 3. We're going to keep going in the playoffs. You just had a 3-week early playoff start. You just got to keep winning. That's all that matters.
And we'll talk about the Bills matchup next week. So,
what a statement.
All right, everybody, thank you all so much for joining us. I think we broke a individual record for our live streaming. So thank you once again.
I'm gonna plug one thing.
And by the way, big ups to Jason Sanders. We take him for granted because I know when he lined up, I'm pretty sure all of us were like, "Man, we got this." You know how many teams line up for that 44-yard field goal, and it's an adventure.
I honestly was a little nervous, not because I felt like he would miss, but it was just that he had a few struggles, and it's in the back of your head because it starts to fester. We need him to make a few more automatics for us to feel comfortable again. But kudos to him.
Alfredo, I think you were good to go for this Wednesday at 7, right? With the show. Yeah, so I'm just going to plug it here since we've got the people, we have the time. This is a big week for the Dolphins. So this Wednesday at 7, me, Kai, Juan, Alfredo, we're going to have the Extra Yard. It's going to be live so people can come in and ask questions. Alfredo's going to be there. We'll turn to him for we're going to turn to him for all this stuff. Whoa, dude, you don't, man, Kai. That's,
hey, like the Godfather is what I meant to say, not grandfather.
Yeah, say Godfather, not grandfather. My goodness. But yeah, we're going to have Alfredo there. So be there Wednesday at 7. Manny.
At the end of the day, Miami won. Give credit to this team. They scrapped and fought their way to the very end. So thank you all so much for joining us. We will see you all next week for the final regular season game and hoping that Buffalo decides to give us an easy win that game. Anyway, good night, everybody. It's time for bed.
Good night, everyone.